And a very happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to the Plug Talk Sports episode, I believe 54 already. I just from week to week I forget the numbers. I think it was 53, 54, especially we're doing social media and stuff like that. But happy Monday. Hope everyone's had a great start to the week. Usual suspects, Brandon Hernandez, who has refused to wear green this time. And
Warrior Blue.
Yeah, buddy. He's wearing it for the parade.
You know what?
Okay, where's he going? What's he gonna do?
We're going neutral.
Okay, we're going neutral. Okay. We can respect that. All right.
What, that's black?
Yeah, it's neutral, you know.
And then we got Janka here. Anything new you guys are watching? I know, Brandon, you were telling me about show on HBO Max.
Like to let everyone know out there right now, Winning Time, you know, the Laker legacy, like great show, great actors. But if you're an NBA historian, it's such a punch in the face, man. Such a punch in the face. They make Jerry West look like a dick that didn't want Magic at all. And then they make like, apparently at the time there was a point guard named Nixon, I believe, that was like super mean to Magic. And I'm just like, man, like the entire show itself is more of a Los Angeles show than it actually is an NBA show. So Great show, but if you're an NBA historian, never watch that. Cover your eyes if you're ever going to turn on HBO for that.
I've actually heard Magic say that he disapproves of the show.
Everyone disapproves of the fucking show. Jerry disapproves of it. Magic disapproves of it. I think the only person that haven't even disapproved it yet is probably the former owner because he's passed away. You know what I mean? Nobody likes that show.
Yeah. Janka, anything new that you're watching?
New that I'm watching. Actually, I'm watching this new show. I told you on Saturday, maybe I didn't. It's called Spy Family. It's a new anime, but it's pretty cool. It's about a spy.
Brandon, you're into that too, man.
Hey, it's a good show, man. I've been seeing snippets here and there. It's not that bad of a show, dude. You gotta give it a chance.
It's a spy. He adopts a daughter because he has to create a family just so he can complete his mission. Right? He has to create a fake family. He adopts a daughter and he doesn't know that she can read minds. And then he has to create a fake wife. But the wife that he picks is actually an assassin. And they both have fake jobs, so they don't know what their actual professions are. And they all have to live together. And it's really cool. I'm telling you, it's really cool. You should watch it. It's really good.
Just give it a chance. The first episode, just give it a chance, man.
Well, and you like spies, bro. There's like tech stuff, bro. I'm telling you, it's really good.
Well, what I've been watching the final season of Peaky Blinders. Okay. Love Peaky Blinders, but you know what? This last season, it's been very slow. Like there hasn't been a lot of action compared to the previous seasons. It's been a lot more of storytelling and what's gonna happen. And because this is the final season, and I'm on the final episode. The final episode's an hour and 5 minutes. So, sometimes you get through like 30 minutes of an episode, and you're like, "Wow, is this thing gonna end?" You press it, and it's like still 30 more minutes. And you're like, "Oh God." It hasn't been that bad. It's just been very slow and very long and all about storytelling and stuff like that instead of action. But I could see why they did that. But yeah, final season, Peaky Blinders. If you've never seen it, check it out. It's pretty good. But let's get into some sports talk. Unless you guys want to share your plugs of the week, anything like that. I think we did good with shows. I think we.
No, yeah. I mean, I think that's probably the worst plug of the week right there for HBO Max. So we're gonna leave it at that. I'm waiting on my best plug of the week because my best plug of the week will be coming up on Wednesday for my birthday.
Oh!
For the first time ever, I'll have a legal beer coming up Wednesday. So I'm thinking of specifics. So do I see it with a little bit of a sunrise, or you know what I mean? Like, do I go to just a bar or whatever? So I'm thinking about it.
So wait, hold up. Are you telling us on live that you've had a beer illegally?
No, I haven't. No, I haven't really. I might take it out on the presser later on in 24 hours or 48 hours from now. But no, not that I know of.
Good answer, because Big Brother is always watching.
Can't be too much, man. You can't say too much.
But yeah, I think that was good for us. I know, Brandon, just bear with me. I know you don't want to talk about the first two topics, but we'll get through it. It's okay, I promise. If you want, we can hold your hand through it. But the Golden State Warriors are your 2022 NBA champions, as he coughs in the middle of Golden State.
Have that together, man.
Man, I really thought that Boston, from my personal standpoint, I thought Boston was going to get that one and was going to force a Game 7. I really thought so. And I thought, Warriors were going to close it off in 7 at home. I really thought that Boston was going to get that one. But from the get-go, the Warriors took a nice little lead. Boston kind of fought their way back. And then, of course, the man that continues to happen, Steph Curry, just you can't blame him. You can't hate him at this point. You have to give your hand to greatness when you see it. And he's like, hey, man, you can't be mad at that. The guy played amazing in the series. There's not much more else that you could have done. But, there's a lot of, I will say, to defend you, Brandon, there's a lot of smack talk that I'm seeing on social media, especially at Marcus Smart, saying, oh, I can't believe he was Defensive Player of the Year. He didn't play like it. Listen, I think throughout the playoffs, first of all, when you got to guard a team like the Warriors, no matter if you're the Defensive Player of the Year or what, that's a very difficult task.
Yeah.
And especially against a team that has finals experience. Look at the series against the Heat. Marcus Smart, played the entire Celtics team, played great defense. So I'm not really liking, the smack talk the Celtics are getting at with their defensive efforts. I will say there's a lot of talk about Jason Tatum as well. I think he could have done better in this series. I think he played better in the Miami series than he did in this final series. I'm heartbroken for Al Horford. I really wanted Al Horford to, he's like that one guy you look at and you're like, he looks like such a nice guy. You want him to get a ring.
He's a nice guy. Platinum power. Come on.
He's that one guy you look at and you're like, I really want him to get a ring.
Exactly.
But you know what? Unfortunately, it didn't happen. I think they were just obviously outmatched against a tougher Golden State team that had more firepower. Everyone was firing on all cylinders. Andrew Wiggins, they had that Game 1 where the Celtics blew him out. But I think they had a lot. Hey, since my dad is here, what do you have to say? What do you Celtics? But this is Brandon.
Hey, what's up, bro?
He's a Celtic.
Oh man, I feel sad.
Hey, it's a good team. You gotta support the good ones.
Hey, that Al Horford, he needs to retire, man.
Oh my god! Come on.
You know what I call him? I call him Al Horford.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Guy. Come on.
That was a popular thing in the Torres household ever since the Miami series. Every time Al Horford touched the ball, there he was saying that at the top of his lungs. But listen, I just think, Andrew Wiggins, Looney, Curry, Thompson, Draymond had a poor series, but then he brought it back together in the final games. It was a tough matchup. And I think, Brandon, even coming off the Eastern Conference Finals, we agreed that it was going to be an uphill battle since Game 1 for the Celtics to take out the Warriors. But I'm going to have to say that I don't agree all the slack that the Celtics are getting, except for Jason Tatum.
Well, if I have to, before I even go into just in general the slanders going on NBA Twitter and everything, I have to say this first. I predicted Warriors in 6 because I just knew for a fact whoever was going to win 2 straight was going to win the whole thing. Yeah. And I hate the fact that I was right on the dot on that. I really hate that. But specifically for the
3 straight.
Celtics, 3 straight.
Thanks for reminding me.
No, yeah, I'm going to think about that all the way to October. But the three things I took away from this series was specifically the Celtics defense was still, great as it was. I mean, there was points where it was having, like, for example, Game 4, we held down to the Warriors to like 6 points midway through the first quarter, and we couldn't close it out.
Yeah.
So in reality, the defense was there, but offensively, the team was horrible, inconsistent by Game 4, and they never picked up the pace. So Al Horford played great. However, he had those some games where like you don't even get more than 5 points out of him. And then as well, Marcus Smart, the turnovers. I mean, Marcus Smart is the point guard for this team. And funny enough, even though Marcus Smart was able to bring the Celtics team to the finals as the facilitating guard, he was probably one of the biggest reasons why they ended up losing out this finals, because every single time the Celtics are getting going, he always throws up the ball. Always throws up the ball when he's driving inside. So
Yeah.
I think the physicality switched over. I think the Warriors, phenomenal series out of them. But if I'm going to take anything out of this series, besides, of course, Curry now with Finals MVP, marking himself as a top 10 player all time, besides Klay Thompson, Draymond Green not showing up, it's got to be Andrew Wiggins.
Yeah.
The first overall pick out of Kansas. From him coming out of Kansas, we all knew he had the talent, and it showed out in the finals. He had a pressure over Jason Tatum, where Jason Tatum ended up averaging about 20 to 21 points a game in that series. And then you see Andrew Wiggins running everywhere and knocking down these shots and being aggressive inside the basket. It doesn't even matter if it's on Derek White. I mean, let him talk the talk. If it's on Derek White, go all for it. It's the NBA Finals. But in reality, I thought Andrew Wiggins, I'm not going to say because, Curry obviously deserves a final MVP, but I think second upcoming would have been Andrew Wiggins for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. So I think, Golden State, great series. I think now we can consider it as a dynasty now, 4 championships out of the last 8 years. Plus, I mean, Boston will be back. However, the last thing I'll talk about has got to be the slander, because they will be back. And the issue is a lot of people feel the same way about Kobe Bryant's first finals, about basically, LeBron James's first finals. And it's like, come on. I mean, Jason Tatum, besides the points and the assists, I believe, I saw a crazy stat. Besides the points and assists, he was over everything for category of shooting percentage, 3-point percentage, over everything that LeBron had in his first finals with the Cavaliers.
Yeah.
So I feel like a lot of people are just slandering Jason Tatum as if he didn't push this Celtics team to a whole nother level through the second and third rounds. I think the slander needs to stop. You get 20 points average in our NBA Finals against one of the best dynasties out there. And also, speaking of which, the Heat fans that were in my timeline, and I kid you not, this was all that night, I had to remind them Game 6 of 2020. Jimmy B had about 12 points in that one, and nobody was talking slander. So I got to tell you right now, Jason Tatum at 24 years old, being in the finals, being a father and all that stuff, a lot of things are on his mind. So you get all the respect from me if you're Jason Tatum. Jalen Brown gets all the respect to me as well. I think the Celtics, they caught a bad 3 games. It's got a bad 3 games, but we should be back hopefully in the next 5 years.
I don't know. Jaka looks like he's got a lot to say by those facial expressions.
First, I got to congratulate the Warriors. My pick 1. I thought it was going to be in 5, but it was in 6.
5?
Hey, okay. But second. Jason Tatum is a sandal because he's flip-flop. He either plays one good game, and then he flops the other one. And then he's the first ever NBA player to go for 100 turnovers in the playoffs. I said it. How does that happen? If you know you're gonna lose the ball, don't play. Don't play.
Gosh, come on, that was the team. That was the team with the turnovers. Everyone knows that. It wasn't just JT.
And everybody talk about how the defense, how the Celtics played good defense. Yeah, they played mediocre defense because if the Heat would have just shot a little bit better, the Heat would have won the series. But that's neither here or there. Neither here or there.
Let me just add to that. By the way, we give you this year 2022, but what about 2011, 2012, 2013?
What is this, a reminder? I've been through so many hardships. I mean, this is
We just want to let you know, before Celtics fans get cocky, we just remind you, okay, you got one, but how about all the other 5 or 6? Just want to let that go. Jonka, you may continue to the floor.
Okay, and the reason I had the Warriors winning it in the first place, obviously Steph, Clay, Draymond. I warned everybody about Wiggins. Wiggins was like the factor. I was letting everybody know. I was always hyped about him in Kansas. I was hyped about him in Minnesota, but he never got the chance. But I was like hopeful he needed just to get in a good situation. Now he is. But let me just warn you about something, guys. This is for next year. Remember, Bielika hardly played. Wiseman didn't play. They set Kuminga out just because of Draymond. Because Draymond wanted to force himself into the game. Oh yeah, I'm warning you right now. Jordan Poole is gonna get better. They have another draft pick coming in. Steph, his muscle memory keeps getting better. Clay, that was his first season back in like 4 years. Buddy, listen. Oh yeah, I said it.
Team.
Listen, buddy, Brandon, I love you, bro, but like the Boston Celtics can make it for the next 10 years, and you ain't winning.
But you know what?
Yeah, you better not talk like that, because who knows if Miami makes it one of these years, man.
Okay, let me add this. Something that I saw, and I sent it to Jonka, which was blasphemous to me. Bleacher Report put in an early rankings top 10 of teams in the East altogether.
I told you, yeah.
The Miami Heat were not listed in the top 10.
Yeah.
What? How can you not put them in the top 10?
I think they're probably thinking about like next year too soon. You know what I mean? Like the Heat roster is going to stick around.
That's a 3, Brandon.
I mean, they better have a hell of an offseason.
There's rumors that Kyrie wants to go to the Lakers with LeBron. I don't know.
Look, I'm telling you right now, because, I mean, I don't have the exact list in front of me for Bleacher Report, but I believe some of the teams that were there. What are the teams for the Philadelphia 76ers? That shouldn't even be a top 12 team.
Yeah.
That should not. I got like a handful of teams out west, and I probably have a front 7 teams ahead of them. That 76ers squad, James Harden, Joel Embiid, great duo. I think they have great potential. Maxey, kid out of Kentucky, doing well. But, I mean, Tobias Harris is fine. But besides that, you got 4 guys running around for about 40-plus minutes a night, most likely. So who the hell they got on that roster? Doc Rivers isn't cooking anything up recently. I mean, come on. You know what I mean? I get Joel Embiid, one of the best players there is, probably, in my opinion, should have been MVP this year. But from the Miami Heat standpoint, I mean, besides the record they had last year, because, I mean, as they say sometimes here and there, records don't mean anything until you make it to the playoffs. But in general, the Miami Heat have gone through the Eastern Conference through multiple teams that should have been, contenders. We talk about Miami against Brooklyn, how they fare up against them. Miami against the Milwaukee Bucks and how they fare up against them. The only threat to the Miami Heat in the Eastern Conference alone is the Celtics and the Bucks. The only 2 teams out there. And for the Western Conference, I want you to name a team besides the Golden State Warriors that would beat out Miami. Name one team. Probably you can't, because there isn't one. Unless you want to mention Memphis, but that'll be a 50-50. So I'm telling you right now, Miami should be a top 5 team, guaranteed. Especially after this year, guaranteed.
You know what's even crazy, and we'll end this topic off with this, but Will Manso, Jimmy Butler with obviously Big Face Coffee had an event in Midtown to promote it, and Will Manso was there from Channel 10 down here in Miami, and he was saying it's been 2 weeks since that Game 7 against Boston, and Jimmy Butler was still hobbling. Like, that is how much that man put his body through in that series against Boston. Like, it must be really bad when that guy is still limping around.
No, yeah, it's horrible. Not even that. I mean, speaking of which, Rob Williams for the Boston Celtics throughout the finals, every single day he tolerated pain. You know what I mean? He was the only guy that was even questionable throughout this entire series, besides, I think, Andre Iguodala for Game 2. So that Heat Celtics series, it broke some bones. It probably tortured some guys' ligaments and, tear the skin off the bone, man. I mean, that was an aggressive, hard-nosed series.
But I think we all understand. Every time it's Miami, Boston, like, we know it's going to be a bar fight.
No, yeah.
every time. I think that this next topic, I think that all three of us will agree, hopefully. But do you now put Steph Curry in the top 10 NBA players of all time?
Yes, I really do. I really do. The thing is, though, is that I actually had this conversation while I was watching the NBA Finals this year. We were talking about Steph Curry ended up getting a Finals MVP and ends up winning a fourth ring. I would consider it, and I was waiting for a moment like this, but to consider it putting over Magic. Magic, Dynasty in the 80s, got himself 3 rings out of that. But, man, it's the difference of Curry in the record books. We're talking about three-point shooter, all-time for threes.
Yeah.
Right? Regular season, single season, most threes, most three-point field goals. You go into the playoffs. He's one of the best players there is in the NBA playoffs, leading his team to an NBA Finals. And this time, a legitimate leader in the NBA Finals. Because, of course, you have the 2 years with Kevin Durant on that team, which I have to say, arguably. I mean, you can say whatever you want. KD's a better player than Stephen Curry straight up. So this is the first time we've ever seen Stephen Curry really lead a team in Golden State to the promised land. So talk about a lead guy in a dynasty who's been there the entire time, which has, Magic beat right there for the 4 rings of that dynasty. Absolutely breaking records. I put himself right now probably at number 8. I put him over Tim Duncan. I put him over Magic Johnson.
Okay, wait, hold up. Name your top 10 right now.
Top 10.
Ooh, I gotta write that down then. Holy.
Okay, so obviously top 3, it's gonna be my usual suspects, but in this case, in the order of all time, and this just ups like straight up. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, obviously number 1. Number 2, I got probably Michael Jordan. 3, LeBron James. 4, I got Kobe Bryant. 5, Shaquille O'Neal. 6, Bill Russell. 7, Will Chamberlain. Curry, I'm probably going to have to put him again. I'm going to stick with this. I'm going to put him at number 8. Number 9, Tim Duncan. And
Okay.
Number 10 will be a dogfight. There'll be a dogfight against whoever. On top of my head, probably, I hate to say this because I don't get a lot of heat, but Kevin Durant, top 10. I just love his game so much. 2-time champion, MVP. I mean, he's going to keep on building his resume. He's going to keep on building up over Tim Duncan, I'm pretty sure. But right now, 2-time champion Kevin Durant, deservedly top 10.
I agree with you. Before Jonathan goes, I'll go. My answer is yes. I do believe Steph Curry belongs in best players of all time. This guy is when you talk to our parents, obviously we've seen the best of both worlds. Obviously we've seen one side of it, but it's the best shooter. When you have somebody who's seen both sides of the 80s and all that, and now generations of basketball say that he's the best shooter they've ever seen. I mean, that means something. For me, number 1 is going to be Michael Jordan. Number 2 is going to be Kobe Bryant. Number 3 will be LeBron James. Number 4 is going to be Kareem. Number 5 is going to be Shaq. 6. Man, it's tough. But 6 is going to have to be Steph.
Okay.
7 for me is going to be Larry. 8 is going to have to be Magic. 9 is going to have to be Tim Duncan.
Okay.
And 10, I'm going to have to agree with you with Kevin Durant.
Okay. You have me scared for a second of not including Timmy, but wait, but you didn't say O'Neal, did you?
I did. Shaq at 5.
Oh, you didn't put Wilt.
I didn't put Wilt.
How come?
Dude, it's tough.
What's that guy? Come on.
It's tough, man. Like, when you're only limited to put 10 all time, like, there's so many greats that, like, you're bound to leave one off of there that you're like, I'm sorry, but I had to put other guys on there. And for me, like, as great as Wilt was, like I had to those guys that I put in the top 10. I couldn't leave any of those guys out.
Oh yeah.
It's tough.
I think a top 10 wouldn't be complete without a Bill Russell, Wilt Chamberlain, or a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Yeah.
For me personally, I think Kareem wins over Wilt just because when they face to face, I think Kareem probably had the better chance. And then straight up, Bill Russell absolutely dominated the game, but I think it was more of a team than it was just an individual. So I put Wilt over him as an individual. But still, man, Wilt is like it's hard to put him over anybody.
You look at KD, like I would have put him at 10. The thing is, you look at KD. KD's like no one's seen that before. KD's a center that can shoot.
Oh yeah.
He's pretty much what he is, a center that can shoot.
Yeah. Plus, not even that. If you ever watch him in real life, he's literally a Grim Reaper, man. The guy's it's like a twig out there, but I mean, he dribbles so low for his height. He really does attack the paint with a quick first step, and he can pull up anywhere, really. I mean, 2017, him pulling in front of LeBron James on left wing for a finals game is like ridiculous to even think about. So, I mean, he had to be top 10. He has to be top 10.
Yeah, and he is. I will say he is my favorite player. So, just have to put that out there. I got his OKC jersey. I got his Golden State jersey. I got his Brooklyn jersey. Damn. I'm not. I don't like any of those teams. They're not. None of my favorite teams. No, but
you just like the player.
Yeah.
Okay. I can respect that. I can respect that.
If you had to ask me though, out of the three, it's tough. Brooklyn I like the least, but it's tough because I really do like the OKC days. But then what he became in Golden State,
it's elevated his game. His game right after he left after he left Golden State. It's like he's a different man. So yeah, I don't know because I had this exact same conversation, but with LeBron's sake. Because I remember I went on like an argument with a friend for like a whole month saying, because I personally think Miami LeBron was the best LeBron, and then he was talking about 2018 LeBron was the best LeBron.
I think Miami LeBron's the best LeBron.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like the better coach, and the guy's like, oh no, but the playoff run 2018, the playoff run. I'm like, the playoff run. They didn't even win the finals that year. I mean, not even that. Didn't they even got swept? Didn't they? 2018. Yeah. So it's kind of ridiculous to me. I think LeBron Miami was,
which I predicted.
Yeah.
Jonka, first part of the question: do you believe Steph Curry belongs in the top 10?
Yes, 100%, obviously.
Okay, give us your top 10.
Okay, I'm gonna leave an honorable mention for 10. So it's like for me, my opinion. I think it's KD and D Wade. For me, I feel like D Wade should be 11 or 10. Right now, I have KD above him at 10 because of just talent wise. KD is just superior, but KD right now isn't really carrying himself as a professional basketball player right now. Too much off the court issues. 9 Curry. I got Curry at 9. I got Tim D at 8. I know you put him Curry above Tim D. But I need Curry to get one more chip so he can beat out Tim D for that. I got Kareem at 7.
Okay.
I got Magic at 6. Larry Bird at 5. I got the Diesel at 4. I got Kobe 3, LeBron 2, and the best of all time, no argument there. Nobody would ever beat him, MJ. I won.
Wait, hold on. I gotta ask this to the both of you. Why do you think, and this is off topic, we'll keep it short, but why do you guys have LeBron over Kobe?
Specifically, I have LeBron over Kobe just because it's not only because of the championships or anything like that. It's the fact of his consistency throughout more than probably half of his career, making it to the NBA Finals, pushing a team over the brink. Plus, like Kobe Bryant, coming out of high school and being a product of the game within a minute. I mean, everyone even looks up the first game against it was like LeBron going against the Kings in his first game. He went like for 20 plus. I mean, LeBron James has just been that guy throughout his entire career. And you don't talk about the early 2000s. You don't talk about the teens, or even nowadays in 2020s. It's like, man, we're still talking about LeBron James dominance. So the fact that LeBron's been dominant for almost more than 2 decades, I mean, let alone the finals appearances, and that in itself, it just shows you can't speak of LeBron. The man's been dominant for 1/3 of the NBA's history.
I agree with that. But I think that Kobe, when you needed him the most, he'll give you more than what LeBron could. If you needed a clutch shot, a clutch moment, Kobe, you're giving the ball to Kobe. You're not giving LeBron that ball during those specific situations. You're giving that ball to Kobe. And I just think I'm not discrediting LeBron's work ethic, but Kobe's work ethic was absolutely insane. Obviously, he has one more championship than LeBron does at the moment. But I just feel like Kobe was that guy that you can get the ball in his hands anytime that you need it. And his lockdown defense, like Kobe lockdown defense, like you're not going anywhere.
It was a killer, man. He was a killer.
So that's why I put him over LeBron. I mean, LeBron's more of a look, if you were gonna compare it, Kobe plays more like MJ and LeBron plays more like Magic. If you put it in that way.
I mean that's like two things you can look at it. I don't know if LeBron would give you one of these behind the back, but I mean straight up though, Kobe Bryant, phenomenal shooter, probably one of the best guys, Mamba mentality, changed the way we look at the game, let alone look at things that we do on everyday life. But again, at the same time, I gotta ask you, Kobe Bryant in the three-peat he did during the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Phenomenal team, Phil Jackson, head coach, great system there, right? Took some years for him to get back into the mountaintops. And his final 2 championships, where you have with Paul Gasol, I mean, those 2 teams, I mean, hell, even Lamar Odom on there. Kobe Bryant, in general, those 2 teams, that was when we saw him probably as a leader in his peak mindset and probably one of his best times ever in the NBA. Of course, besides the highlights we've seen in, beginning of his career. LeBron James, throughout his entire career, we talked about, like LeBron, I mean, if you want to call it like this, but like LeBron Cavaliers 1.0, phenomenal player, went to the NBA Finals, didn't win it at all. Then he go off to, of course, him in Miami, got 2 rings there, possibly could have been there for a 3-peat, but then had to go against a star-studded Spurs team, which will probably never be remembered in history, unfortunately, as I say that right now. But most likely, the whole starting lineup is going to the Hall of Fame. I mean, even like the splitter is probably going to have a chance in the next 20 years. So LeBron goes against that. He goes off against, the Golden State team now, their first half of their dynasty, and Cavs 2.0 LeBron. And now he's in Los Angeles. And, whatever you want to call about the bubble, I still think the bubble should have been a mistake. But still wins the championship there with Los Angeles, despite, the whole pandemic and playing at Disney Resort. But besides that, LeBron James has been dominant in every single portion of his career. I haven't even imagined a time in his career where even as a young rookie, he had to step back. He was always on a go. He was always there for the team. And no matter what happened, even at his age and what he's doing to his body at 37 years old, I mean, it's phenomenal to see him even tolerate any of it. So besides his GM work, I think everything else on the court, it's definitely been LeBron just being what he needs to be for a city, for a team. So Kobe Bryant, phenomenal player, great career, 5 rings, obviously a huge stepping point in the conversation. However, at the same time, like Havlicek for the Celtics had 8 rings or whatever, and we're not even talking about him in top 20. So, LeBron James, I think no matter if you look at the rings, just look at the dominance over the years.
We're gonna read some cities here. As we know, this past week, the 2026 FIFA World Cup cities were announced. We're going to go through those. I know a lot of people probably already know the news. They'll be happy to it, but let's go through them. Atlanta will be a host city, Mercedes-Benz Stadium. which hosts the MLS's Atlanta United and the NFL's Atlanta Falcons. They have about 75,000 capacity. Then we go to Boston, Gillette Stadium. Obviously, Jonka's Patriots play at Gillette Stadium, of course, as the New England Revolution, and it holds about 70,000. Then we go to Dallas, where they played the 1994 World Cup at the Cotton Bowl. AT&T Stadium will host it in 2026, home of my Dallas Cowboys. And that hosts over 93,000 spectators at AT&T. So definitely, I think that they and it has a roof. I definitely think that could be a potential spot, maybe for consideration of the final. Then we go into, because remember, this World Cup will be United States, majority having most of the games, and then of course they'll be sharing it with Canada and Mexico. So Guadalajara in Mexico, which has hosted some iconic moments in World Cup history, will be hosting. They hosted the epic quarterfinal between Brazil and France in 1986. They'll be hosting. Then we have Houston, NRG Stadium, home of the Houston Texans. They fit 72,000. And they've hosted World Cup qualifying matches there before. Then this one, guys, was very controversial. Kansas City representing the Midwest. A lot of people were saying, why not Chicago? Why, in Soldier Field? What about Minneapolis? What about, such a big as Columbus, Ohio, which has such a big soccer, presence and atmosphere? What about there? How come they picked Kansas City as a host city to represent the Midwest of the United States? Obviously, they have Sporting Kansas City. They won't be playing there. They will be playing at Arrowhead Stadium, home of the Kansas City Chiefs. That fits about 76,000. Then we got Los Angeles, who have recently held the Super Bowl. This will be SoFi Stadium, which we know the 1994 World Cup final was at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena near Los Angeles. So LA getting another World Cup hosting bid. That was no doubt about it there. Then we go on to Mexico City to be honest, one of the most iconic stadiums of all of world soccer, the Estadio Azteca. 97,000 fits in that stadium. And you can only imagine, they've had the 1970 and 1986 World Cup at the Azteca, Mexico City. And that's also where Diego Maradona won a World Cup in the Azteca with Argentina. I can just imagine it right now with how rowdy it gets with just Mexican games alone in that stadium, how it's going to be for a World Cup. So that's going to be amazing. Here we are. Hard Rock Stadium and Miami has been selected as the host city, home of the Miami Dolphins.
Wanted to say their name.
Capacity of 67,000. We know that Inter Miami plays in Miami, obviously. So MLS ties there, and it's going to bring a lot of Central and Southern American population to come watch this game. And it's going to be good. It's going to be good here in Miami. I can finally say, hey man, there's going to be a World Cup finally happening in Miami. Obviously in 94 we weren't alive for that, but they did not play in Miami. They played in Orlando, I believe, which a lot of people are making fun of it because Orlando, who had asked for a bid, did not get it. They were offering Camping World Stadium, which they were like, we'd rather go to Hard Rock than Camping World. So
yeah, tell to the face.
Miami it is. Next up, we have another Mexican city of Monterrey, a 53,000 seat stadium, which, by the way, if you have not seen this stadium, it is absolutely beautiful. It's an open stadium, and in the back, you see just the mountains. It's an amazing stadium. home to Liga MX's team, and of course, home to now where former Inter Miami player Rodolfo Pizarro plays at, which is Monterrey, of course. Then we have New York, where the New York Jets and the New York Giants share a field at MetLife Stadium. We got Philadelphia, Lincoln Financial Field, home of the Philadelphia Eagles. They've had an exhibition match there between Manchester United and Barcelona. They will hold a game as well as they ever hold the 2015 Gold Cup final, CONCACAF Gold Cup, between Mexico and Jamaica. We've got San Francisco Levi Stadium, home of the San Francisco 49ers, will be hosting as well. They hosted the Super Bowl in 2016. We have Lumen Field in Seattle, home of the Seattle Sounders of MLS and the Seattle Seahawks. 70,000. We know how loud that stadium can get. We've got Toronto, which will be using Toronto FC's Major League Soccer stadium. Only 45,000. And then the final city is Vancouver, which will be using the Vancouver Whitecaps Major League Soccer stadium. So with that, let's open to some debate to some cities that were left out of this. Denver, who had a bid. People were wondering why did not, Denver get a bid. A lot of people saying they'd rather have Denver than Houston. Then, of course, the Midwest with Kansas City. People upset about that and how come, Chicago being a major, major city did not get one. And then the very controversial one is, through all the World Cups, except for the United States in 94, it happens to be a U.S. thing. The final is always played in the capital city of the country. Washington, D.C. did not get a bid. To be fair, their stadium where, the former Redskins, now Commanders, play at FedEx Field it's big, but it's outdated. It's pretty old, outdated. So they do not get a bid, and that was kind of upsetting for people in the news and stuff like that. Another one that was upsetting for people is Charlotte Bank of America Stadium. They packed out that stadium for Charlotte FC at almost every single game this year, and they're wondering why didn't we not get a bid with everything that we've done for soccer and Major League Soccer and the attendance we get. So yeah, I'll leave it at that. If you guys have any comments or anything about that.
Well, for one, I don't know who the hell is talking about Charlotte.
Exactly.
But that would be an interesting idea, though. That would be pretty cool to see in the Queen City. And DC, obviously, that stadium is horrible. I'd rather have them play in New Jersey in MetLife.
Yeah.
So the two cities I could not believe that were considered, Nashville, right?
Yep.
And then we're talking about Vegas.
Yes.
No one's talking about Vegas, where what was it? Like the Mexico versus the United States play the Nations League Championship, whatever it's called. The atmosphere was ridiculous. It wasn't even a Gold Cup game, and it was ridiculous. Are you kidding me?
And it's a brand new stadium.
Bro, they should have the game in Vegas. They should have the championship in Vegas. Hell, they might as well have the whole World Cup over there in the freaking. I don't even know what that thing is called anymore. I think it's called the Star Destroyer or something like that. Something ridiculous. It's a behemoth of what it is. But yeah, I do love the cities that were chosen. I think that from Mexico and then Toronto and then the United States. I want specifically those countries that are going to be in the World Cup, and most likely, the three I just mentioned countries are going to be there for 2026. They should host their group stage games in their home country. I want to see Aztec get insane for Mexico when they go against Denmark or whatever. I want to see the United States going against England over there in Los Angeles. I want to see what happens.
It wouldn't make sense, right? It wouldn't make sense to have Mexico playing their group matches in the U.S. or in Canada. It just wouldn't make sense. It would feel weird.
Imagine Mexico playing in freaking Kansas City. No one's going to make that flight. Not a single person. And speaking of which, for those fans because I've heard this before, the fans out in Cincinnati, because I know Cincinnati FC had that new stadium. I'm not exactly sure how much it holds, but right now it probably wasn't even the first option in the city of Cincinnati if they were even going to go do a World Cup game there. So again, great stadium for MLS, but for World Cup, it's got to have more seats.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that statement. Don, anything you gotta say about that?
I'm gonna say, for the final, I have a feeling it's going to be in the 305.
Yes, sir.
But listen to why. This is why.
Okay.
I don't think it's going to be New York up east because it's going to up there is too crowded, and second, it's too expensive. No one want to go to California, but mira, what's happening now? Everybody wants to leave California because what? It's too expensive. Texas, it's really nice over there. It's kind of cheap, but the thing is, there's no diversity in cultures. It's usually a lot of gringos and Mexicans, and that's basically what it is. Now, what's the one city in the entire country, well, North America, that everybody goes to no matter what? Hey, you want to go to vacation? Where are we going? Miami. You get everything you want. It's not that expensive. You get to party all you want. There's trillions of cultures, whatever you want to call it. We got from Europeans to South Americans to Africans to whatever that hasn't been discovered yet. They're there. Now, how would you not want that city to represent the final? How?
Because they don't have the facility to do it.
Screw the facilities.
They can watch it on TV. And whoever can afford it, they can watch it on TV. That's why it's televised.
You will catch me at the wharf watching the final. I guarantee you that. But I guarantee you, if
the Hard Rock Stadium, if they told them, "Hey, can you edit? We'll pay for the stadium to be 100,000 seats." They will do the construction for the 100,000 seats. I guarantee it right now. I put money on it.
Not even that. I mean, this is Hard Rock Stadium we're talking about. They've done a Super Bowl, the Orange Bowl every damn year. And we're talking about, they're doing tennis now and F1. They are built to add this on.
Brandon,
they're literally built for this.
Brandon, as a follower of F1, that was the most tackiest thing I've ever seen in my life. And I will tell you why.
They welcomed it, though. That's what I'm trying to say.
Well, they welcomed it because their first idea was to do it down Ocean Drive, which would have been really nice, but the city said no. Because you know what? They put it in the middle of an area that's not too good in Miami Gardens, and you're racing around a stadium with a fake ocean. Compare that to them racing on the beautiful streets of Monaco. In all of these beautiful places, and you're racing in Miami Gardens around the stadium.
Okay, but what city can you compare to Monaco in the United States, though? I mean, that's a hard thing to ask for, man. I mean, hell, Mr. Ross, for the owner of everything.
The people that go to Monaco for F1 are people that drive Ferraris and sip champagne while they wipe $100 bills off their asses.
Yes, this was in Miami Gardens, baby. This was the blood, sweat, and tears of the actual South Floridians out there, man. If you ask me, a World Cup,
look, like I just said,
literally, and I hate to say this, but it's literally Hard Rock Stadium is literally the meeting point for Broward County and Miami-Dade. It would mean so much to the South Florida community to even host that event.
Jonka just said it. He said the people that go watch F1 in Monaco sip champagne, they go on their yacht, and they drive Ferraris, but yet those people actually care about Formula One. The audience that we got for Formula Ones in Miami are the people that say, "Oh my God, Formula One's coming to Miami. I watched that show on Netflix and I'm such a big fan." And we're talking about pit stops and all this stuff like they knew about Formula One for years now. That was the difference between the audience.
But it got them excited. It brought events. It brought new people to the city. Bro, imagine this. Beckham's new stadium it will host the final. Imagine that. Bro, that would be the sexiest thing in the world, bro.
Listen, I take AT&T Stadium over Hard Rock Stadium any day of the week. Any day of the week.
As for stadium wise, yes. But for the city to host all the millions of people that are gonna come because of the World Cup, I don't see Dallas or wherever the AT&T Stadium is located for people to hang out and just spend their money on there.
It will. You know why? I'll tell you why. The airport is about Dallas Fort Worth Airport is about 15 minutes from AT&T Stadium.
So you want them to leave?
Downtown Dallas is about 10 minutes away from AT&T Stadium.
Okay.
Dallas is a very big city.
Mm-hmm.
In Miami, the airport's about 25 minutes away from Hard Rock Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
Downtown's about 30 minutes away from Hard Rock Stadium. It's
Mm-hmm.
going to be a cluster, you know what? Because when Real Madrid played here against Barcelona, they shut down the entire I-95 to get to Hard Rock Stadium with a police escort. And you know who was stuck on I-95? People trying to get home from work and people trying to get to the game who were late to the game because they shut down the entire I-95. Plus, people complaining about, I thought the game was in Miami. What am I doing staying in Brickell 30 minutes away or at the beach 35 or 40 minutes away and making a drive or one expensive-ass Uber from that area all the way to Hard Rock Stadium?
If you're going to go to the game, you have to do your research. When I was at ticketing at Hard Rock, I'm telling you right now, I would never understand people. Oh, I took an Uber from Brickell. Like, dog, you know where the stadium's at, right? They say it on the Ticketmaster thing.
Yeah.
Location, Miami Gardens, Florida. You got to be kidding me.
Look, but that's us, though. That's us. We're talking about the World Cup. We're talking about people from Europe or South America that maybe haven't even been to Miami before. Maybe this is their first time from Miami. They want to catch a game in Miami. They do not know.
Okay, but if they're going to catch a game in Miami, they got to know if you're going to travel, you have to deal with the locals. You have to deal with the locals no matter what. Like if I want to say I want to visit LA, if I want to visit LA and I want to go visit all these shops in Hollywood, I gotta deal with the highway traffic.
Okay, but what I'm saying is it's an inconvenience. That is an inconvenience. Whether in Dallas, for example, it's all central and close to each other.
That may be so. That may be so. However, we're all missing the bigger picture.
Miami's
the
better
LA
than Dallas.
Coliseum. Look, I'm just going to say it like this. If it's not in Miami, it's going to be in Los Angeles.
I can agree to that.
Yeah.
And if it's going to be in Los Angeles, they have to at least attempt to do it in that, Olympic Coliseum.
They're going to do it.
Attempt it. I'm telling you, they don't care about traffic, let alone facilities. They just care about the location. Yeah. Guarantee that. So Miami, it's got a real shot because Mr. Ross, the owner of the Dolphins on Hard Rock Stadium, all that stuff, he'll welcome anything. If he put an F1 track around the stadium, I would not even doubt it if he was even come to for a final position for that World Cup.
And then also the Hard Rock Stadium, I think the north, south, east, and west, it's all pull apart. So you can pull it apart and add more seats to it. Do you think if they were to guarantee Ross a World Cup final for him, if he were just to add more seats, boy, that stadium will be being built right now right now, bro.
We'll get to work.
The Hard Rock Stadium, this is the last thing I'll say. The Hard Rock Stadium parking lot, it's big. It's big. It's
pretty big, but I hate it.
But the AT&T Stadium parking lot goes for miles, all the way to the highway, 4 miles. It goes all the way back there. Much bigger than Hard Rock Stadium.
Oh, yeah. Plus Hard Rock, for those that haven't been to the stadium recently, because of the Miami Open and the F1, they chopped up half of the parking lot.
Yeah.
So the majority of the people are parking at Calder Casino, which is about a mile away.
Yep.
So it's like, hey, if you want a World Cup, and again, I'm all for it. Final Miami, all for it. But if you want to go, you might as well pay for, a couple of thousands for the ticket and a couple of hundred for the Uber ride over because it's going to be expensive to even think about being next to Hard Rock Stadium on the day of.
And an extra couple thousand for food since the taxi in California is up the ass.
Oh my gosh.
Final topic of the evening. And I want to hear, this is an interesting thing here. Tyreek Hill said that Tua Tagovailoa is the most accurate passer that he has played with. He is saying in that statement that Tua is more accurate than Patrick Mahomes. Guys?
Let me see the Brandon. Let me start this up, Brandon. You do your thing. I gotta say something out my chest, man, because I argue with my dumb brother every single day because of this.
Go ahead. I want you to start it off.
Tua sucks. Let me just put that out there. Tua is nothing. He's injury prone. He's small, and he can't throw. I'm gonna say right now, he can't throw. The reason that people say that it's true that he is more accurate than Patrick Mahomes is because Tua's sample size is smaller than Patrick Mahomes. He's played fewer games. And with those fewer games, when you average out the numbers, they're going to be inflated. If you know your math, numbers are inflated. The same thing happened with Carmelo when he won the scoring title over Durant. Carmelo Anthony that year played less games, and that's why he averaged more points than Durant. That's the exact same thing that we're seeing right now. More accurate, baloney Jesus. Baloney sandwiches. Tua is nothing. I guarantee you right now, if the Dolphins don't make the playoffs this year, Tua needs to be ejected from the team. Ejected, spit out, thrown away. Brandon, go ahead. That's all I gotta say.
Well, you're spitting straight facts here. You're not lying at all on anything. All right. Stat-wise, obviously Patrick Mahomes better, longer career, all that stuff. Super Bowl guy, Madden cover, gunslinging, MVP throwing type of player. But when I look at Tua, and I hate to admit this because I had him I had him below like Justin Herbert and Jalen Hurts. But he's got something in him. He's got that dog in him. All right. DAWG dog in him. All right. I feel like when he was going to offseason and plus last year, he just has a different mentality now when he's taking the field. More of a confidence. Either you say that it's because he realizes what's going on in Miami, that he's a center point for the offense now. But Tua, Tagovailoa is getting more accurate. I thought coming out of college in Alabama, a lot of those first round wide receivers that we saw with him were extending themselves to even convert anything for even a slant or even some sort of crossing route. But now we're seeing Tua where he's dropping dimes to Gesicki. You see him with Tyreek Hill. Obviously, there might be some highlights where it's a kind of an underthrown ball, but at the same time, he's knocking down the routes. And how Jimmy Garoppolo was in San Fran with Mike Daniels as the OC. We're talking about a guy that did short passes, was accurate, and they still made it to the NFC Championship, let alone to a Super Bowl a couple years back. So what I'm saying here now is that Tua could be accurate, but that doesn't mean he's better than Patrick Mahomes. Let alone doesn't mean he should even be in the same tier class as him with a quarterback standing. But again, Tua will elevate his game this year. I think it's going to be a real interesting year to find out of Tua's game, but he is accurate. He has become more accurate than I expected him to be in his career. He's definitely been able to do it within 2 or 3 years.
The only thing I will say to end this episode off is Tyreek Hill is an experienced football player. I don't want to get Dolphins fans' hopes up, but he must be seeing something in OTAs that we're not seeing. And what that is, we'll just see it when the 2022-23 season begins. Well, I don't know what it is, but there's got to be something there for him to say that statement, because you really don't hear a lot of BS statements come out of Tyreek Hill. When he says something, it's could be fact. So I think that will remain to be seen, and I think from that, I think maybe he'll step up his game this upcoming season.
But wasn't Tyreek doing the same thing, hyping up his quarterback in Kansas City? He was always hyping up Patrick Mahomes, but now obviously he switched to a different team. Why wouldn't he hype up his own quarterback?
Yeah, hey, but Patrick Mahomes was Patrick Mahomes. Like, he hyped him up, and look what happened. He was right about it.
Yeah, because that's his quarterback, but he hasn't played with Tua yet. Tua has played less NFL games than he has been off the field. Like, buddy, listen, why don't you play a full season first and stop getting injured before you actually try playing a full season and make the playoffs?
I think maybe he's talking about what he's seeing in practice with him.
Yeah, and besides that, I'm just gonna leave it at this for Tua. Tagovailoa, when he's on the field, has a winning record, and not even that. Going through the 7-game losing streak we did last year, Tua's injury was kind of the starting point of that.
Yeah.
When Tua comes back full stride, we start winning those games. Some against Baltimore, some against real champions like the Rams. And mind you, next year, for this upcoming season, our first game is against New England in Miami. So I'm just telling you right now, Junka, if things go well for the Dolphins that one, the episode that Monday, it's going to be hell. It's going to be different, man. So tell you right now, the Tua train is coming its way, man.
Okay, what do you expect Tua to have this year that would put him above what you expect him to be? Because I don't know, like, where do you have him, like, average this year, above average? Because now, since he has high tier receivers, hey, now there's no excuses. Now you got to perform. Now this is the third year.
Yeah. So what I'm expecting out of specifically Tua, because I think I put him at an average category in the NFL. I think he's at least a 16, 17, 15 top quarterback right now actively in the NFL. I would probably have to say, coming straight out of the first game, I want to see Tua under pressure. I think there was a lot of times where he had terrible reads, threw the ball away. I even remember some, against the Saints, he had a interception as well. There was a game against the Jets at home, a pick six. In reality, it's like, you got to do better reading that. So I think the maturity is building up with him, again, from OTAs or whatever you want to call it. The offseason push is bringing confidence. So what I want to see out of Tua, I want to see him get above the crest of at least top 12, top 13 in the NFL. And I'm expecting him, with his accuracy, making better reads in the zone.
So you're expecting what kind of a record from Tua?
Out of Tua and the Miami Dolphins, I'm expecting 10-plus wins. I'm expecting a playoff home game at some point this season. I'm expecting, and this is going to be a guarantee, 1-1 against the Bills.
There he is.
1-1 against the Patriots. We're sweeping the Jets. And the entire NFC North can go screw themselves because we're beating all of them. Hell, Green Bay on Christmas Day, they're coming straight into Miami. We're going to take it on Christmas. We're going to take that game on Christmas. So I have high hopes. Super high hopes on it.
Strong statement there. Brandon, I don't disagree with all of it. But strong statement. And we're going to have to see how that plays out in the upcoming NFL season. But with that, that's going to wind down episode 54. It was a good one. Guys, stay tuned with us with our social media, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. Stay tuned with us. We're on here every single Monday night, 9:00 p.m. We appreciate you guys. Appreciate you guys following us. And I hope you have a great rest of the week. And good night.